You thought babysitting would be a breeze. Pop on a movie, feed the kid, maybe raid the fridge. But what they didn't tell you is that the house came with some extra company. Sure, you're watching their kid, but who's watching you? That's right, it's the resident ghost. Maybe it's the spirit of a girl with a case of the giggles, or just some weird sound clunking around in the basement. The unfortunate truth is that sometimes an evening in an unfamiliar setting doesn't always go according to plan. We'll see you on the inside.
We got 2 interviews.
We did. And that's partially why I'm so tired, is because of that. Like, it was such a great thing. I'm so glad Chook was able to make it out here. And I actually really look forward to doing a lot of video stuff with him in the future, because he's like a wealth of knowledge on Alaska and all the creepy crawlies about it. So,
And Alaska Native.
And Alaska Native.
Which makes it, like I say, if we're going to talk about this stuff, then he'd like help.
Did you notice he didn't mess up on a single name?
Yeah.
He went through a list of island names, different things that these entities were called. Not a single slip up, just perfect. I'm like, damn, if that was us, we'd be sitting there for 10 minutes. But
if you think about
ourselves,
like us with talking about California, everybody butchers a lot of those names, not us.
What names?
Just any of the Spanish. I mean, there's a lot of Spanish names, and people that don't live in that part of the country can't say those words. It's funny as hell.
I think you're glad that I'm not near the "you made it up" button, because I would just right now just boop.
Dude, I have Spanish named weed products, and
Christian, everyone knows that,
and I laugh hilariously sometimes with the way people say things.
Can I get one of the chihuahuas?
Pretty close.
Yeah. So anyway, welcome back to Sleep with the Lights On.
Horchata, man, they can't say that name.
What did they say instead of horchata?
I don't even know. It's like ridiculous.
Made it up. Christian made it up.
I mean, the simple one is horchata.
Horchata.
But that's like that one. I'm like, okay, that's fair.
That's fair.
But they can't even. It's just ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
Bazinga. They can't say fucking bazinga.
It's pretty aggressive of you to come out of the gate with an F-bomb. Welcome back to Sleep with the Lights On. You remember from the monologue, Christian does not, because I recorded those without him being here, because it is late at night. And we already recorded earlier with our pal Chook, who is also on YouTube. Maybe, if I remember, hey, Scott, remember to put that in the description, throw that in there. But yeah, Chook's a great dude. You guys are going to really enjoy that episode when it drops sometime early or mid-November, if my brain is working properly, which isn't always the case. Christian, how are you doing?
I am wonderful. I'm actually wide awake, even though we have been at it.
It's going to be an interesting ride.
We recorded. I worked. We're back recording again.
I know.
At night.
At night.
It's dark.
TFT after dark, if you will. But it gets dark around 8 p.m. again now, so.
It gets really dark now after having all that light.
As I mentioned in the opening monologue, we're speaking on some, Christian doesn't know that. That's why I got lost in a loop. That was like 10 minutes. I said that 10 minutes ago or something, and now I'm just getting back to it. Christian isn't aware, but we're going to talk about some babysitter stories in today's episode.
I have a babysitter story.
It sounds like it's going to...
that is TFT After Dark.
Wow. Pretty gross.
It's not that gross.
Wow.
It's not that kind of babysitter story.
I don't understand. The only other one that would be TFT After Dark is if you actually sat on the baby. Cat in the Hat reference.
No, it wasn't me. It was me being babysat. Which...
This is getting weirder.
Here's what's really weird is when I think about this babysitter, that's the babysitter that brought out the Ouija board.
It's all making sense now. It's all coming together around these parts. Anyway, this first one is probably going to be the reason this video is not monetized. It's called Well in the Basement. And I know what you're thinking. Why wouldn't that be monetized? It's not that. It's that it's by the Dick Pickler. And it took me a moment to understand that. And now I wish I hadn't taken the moment to understand that, because now I feel a little gross.
We just need to remember to go into the subtitles and make it a totally different spelling.
Yeah. That's what we'll do.
Someone's going to have to remember that.
Well, someone's going to remember when this comes out, and then we're going to be like, oops, when subtitles everywhere are talking about pickling dicks, you know? But that's fine. That's not why you're here. Let's get into this,
Isn't that like...
Wow. You're just really trying to get us demonetized. You're like, I'm really going to swing for the fences on this one. Anyway, this is by the Dick Pickler. I had to say it again. It's called Well in the Basement. Was babysitting my baby brother. He was about 1 and I was 12 years old. This would have been in the late 90s. My mom and I had moved in to live with my grandma into a house she recently bought. It was a very small town in the country, and my grandmother learned about the history of the house pretty quickly. Years ago, there had been a fire at that house which burned the top level. My mom and grandma joked to me that I should like living there since it was rumored to be haunted. They thought this about me because I liked reading ghost stories and watching the TV show Are You Afraid of the Dark?
That
Classic.
doesn't mean you want to be terrorized by spectral entities.
Anyways, I met a girl a few years older than me who used to live at that same house. She lived close by still, just down the road. She had told me that a little boy had died in the basement during the fire, and her uncle had seen him sitting on his bed one night, along with other creepy happenings. I wasn't sure what to think, but I did know the basement was creepy. It was unfinished and cement with long stairs. On the right at the bottom of the stairs was a room with a well in it. Hey, real quick, if your house has a well somewhere in the basement area,
It's odd.
get out. It's a guarantee. We've all seen the movies. We've all heard the stories. It's time. Get out.
I was thinking, even as a skeptic, if your house is old enough to have a well in it, somebody's died in it.
Yeah, over the course of time, someone has surely died in that. I was told to never open it due to safety, and since we lived in the country, a well wasn't entirely uncommon, although I had never seen it before. Thank goodness the movie The Ring didn't exist yet. Just what we were saying.
Yep.
Anyway, the basement was definitely somewhere I didn't want to be alone. There was one day I needed to get something out of a box down there, and I asked my mom to come with me. It was daytime. All of a sudden, we both heard a smash, and there was a broken light bulb on the ground that had somehow unscrewed itself while we were down there. My mom ran up the stairs faster than I did. The scariest thing that happened to me was when I was babysitting my brother and just heard a loud, abrupt stomping sound on the basement stairs. The basement had a door that was closed, so I couldn't see anything, but I can't begin to tell you how quickly I grabbed my brother out of his baby chair and ran out the front door down the street to a neighbor's house. I waited there until my mom came home, but thankfully my mom found us our own place shortly after. I still wonder about the banging on the stairs and wonder what would have happened if I had stayed or even opened the basement door. Banging on the stairs, huh?
And a well.
By the Dick Pickler, no less.
A well in the basement, which means this well is a portal to hell.
This well is a portal to hell.
And if demons existed, that's where they would come from, stomping up the stairs to get the baby brother.
Okay. I really need a soundboard over here for Sleep with the Lights On. I'm finding. I miss it so much. The episodes I can you say some weird shit. I'm like, you know what? Not today.
I thought that would be right up your alley. Demons coming out of the well to get the innocent?
Sure, but the phrasing, it was the phrasing. It sounded goofy, Christian. And this is a spooky ghost podcast. We're not here for goofy bits.
I got to sound goofy sometimes. There's messages there. Someday somebody will go through and try to figure out what my messages were.
If this show turns out to be some kind of cult classic 50 years from now, God help humanity,
They won't need help from God because we'll be helping them.
Okay. Sorry about all that.
I apologize, too. I don't know what I was talking about.
What do you guys think? Anyone out there have a well in the basement? I know a lot of people have wells on their property, but I don't know. It's somehow creepier when it's inside the house, It's not for me. I'll get my water from the tap and die like the rest of you, okay?
It was funny because when they mentioned The Ring, I was like, I had that image in my head, but I couldn't quite grasp what movie it was. I'm like, no, it's not that ring. It's not The Ring. And then they said The Ring, and I'm like, it was The Ring. And that movie was good.
It messed a lot of people up, myself included. Nobody's having a good time with that. But that's fine. We can sort that out in therapy later. This next one, I got to preface this. This next one is so bizarre to me. It's very short, and I apologize. It's a very short story, but it was so bizarre that it actually kicked something else out of the episode because I'm like, I have to tell this story because it creeped me out so much, and it's very benign. but I think you're going to really get a kick out of this, and I think you guys might as well.
Let's go.
It's called ghostwriting.
Is it a...
It's not even remotely close to what you're thinking, I promise you.
Okay. Thank God.
Yeah. Now that is TFD After Dark. That's a sneak peek. Incubus Succubus episode coming in hot. Anyway, this one is by Year Beneficial 6015. Says, my aunt was babysitting when the family dog ran by with a ghost girl riding it. She swears this happened and her mom can attest. She ended up calling her mom out of fear and desperation, and they babysat together the rest of the night. The girl and the ghost, she explained, was riding the dog on her knees, almost as if kneeling on the dog's back. So, very brief, the visual I got from this, it scared the shit out of me, Christian. I don't know why. It's just the idea of like this poor family dog just trying to like, oh my God, what the hell? And this girl, this ghost girl, like not even like riding it like you're a cowboy or something, but just like kneeling on top of it, like, wee, you know, no, dude, no. If you see that, and the aunt was even terrified, you know, it wasn't like a funny, like, oh, how wholesome. No, it was a, what the hell am I looking at? And it got me. It got me.
Do I need to help you out here? There is a very obvious thing, part of this story that you're missing because you went straight to fear. This ghost girl was riding a dog. What do dogs do in all of the stories we talk about when there's something paranormal around? They definitely aren't going to let that ghost ride it. They're freaking out and acting different. So obviously this ghost and the dog were somehow getting along.
You're acting like the dog was okay with this.
Obviously the dog was, or because it's not acting like every other dog.
The dog was running by. So maybe the dog was like, what the hell is on my back? And is trying to get away from it.
I think we would have heard some different descriptions of what the dog was doing. In my view, and maybe this
is because you love dogs.
This
Christian,
maybe tells us a lot about both of our personalities.
Ugh.
Because in your view,
Here we go.
you went to like this negative place where the dogs, and this because it's such a small story, there's not much there. You went through the dog running in fear. I went through the dog.
There's a ghost on my back.
The dog's like, finally, somebody in this family's paying attention and playing with me. I don't know, man.
See, yeah, you built quite the backstory for the dog, Christian. That's not the focus here. It's the ghost riding the dog. You're building a backstory for a dog. We don't even know the dog's name. It's just a thing that was being taken advantage of by the spirit world.
Maybe.
I rest my case. Allegedly
taken advantage
of.
We don't have enough information to see whether this dog was being tortured by a ghost or...
Oh, I got all the information I need.
You know the thing, though, riding on her knees, I think there's people that ride horses on their knees, whether they're a really experienced horse rider just doing tricks or whatever.
You just can't help yourself but making up random facts.
I feel like I've seen that before, but it's like in those Wild West type shows. So
sure.
It's not a normal thing.
It's not a normal thing, yeah.
But who knows? Who knows, man? I like the story. This was a good choice.
Brief. It was very brief, but I'm like, there's no way I can skip over. I'm sorry, I can't do it. A ghost riding a dog. I can't pass it up. It's too juicy.
That is now the second best ghost story we've ever talked about on the podcast.
You hear that?
Yeah, the podcast. Say it right.
Thank you. Yes, a lot of work goes into this, Christian. Calling it the pod is very disrespectful, and now everyone in the Facebook group's going to start doing it. So, are you happy? Look what you've done.
This will make me very happy after
a word from our sponsors. YouTube, go. Gotcha. I'm so glad to hear that. Anyways, welcome back to the show, folks. Are you ready to get into this third and final story from today's episode as Christian?
I was not ready.
A mysterious fog settles on the room. Wonder what that could be.
It's a fucking ghost riding a dog.
Wow. Oh my God, look, Benji.
And ghost fireworks.
Wow. Christian, everyone knows.
Ghosts don't exist?
No, that is not what everyone knows. Everyone knows that you're a degenerate pervert man. So
one of these days we're going to have to discuss deeply why I believe ghosts don't exist. But I don't know if we're quite there.
That sounds like the worst. That sounds like the worst.
Maybe.
I think I don't know. I think if I had like 3 solid hours, I could just tear you apart. I could tear you down to the bottom and you'd be like, you know what? I believe in everything. You've convinced me.
I think we'd still be in the same spot.
I don't know, man. This podcast is entertaining, but if we had like 3 to 5 hours, I could just slowly pick away at your beliefs until you're like, you know what? He's onto something.
I feel like you don't even know me all of a sudden.
Wow.
I know I don't try to convince you because you're
What,
one
brainwashed?
of the most stubborn people in the world next to
Have you met your daughter, Christian?
next to me.
Yeah, exactly.
And my
Explained
daughter.
your daughter. Yeah, because of you. You're so stubborn. Sheesh. Classic Christian move right there.
You've met my dad.
I have.
That's where all the stubbornness comes from.
Seems like a great man, Christian.
He is. But anytime he gets mad at my sister and I, we're just like you.
We're just like you. Hey, message to everyone. We're just like you too. Kumbaya and whatnot. Anyway, this third and final story of the episode is called Stand Your Ground. And you're actually going to get a kick out of this one too. Look at that. Really appeasing Christian in this episode.
It's about time.
It's about damn time. The people have spoken. They want more Christian. They say, Scott, get out of there. You're the worst. And I say, okay.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. Anyway, yeah, Stand Your Ground. It's by Chewbacca, but there's a lot of numbers in there, and I'm not going to do that, okay? I'm not going to do that to you. You can read it. It's on the screen right there. Weird spelling, but I get it, you know? Me at 13. Anyway, it says, I was in my first year at uni, and we hadn't been able to get digs, so we lodged with a family. Wow, this person is very hip right off the bat.
If that's what they think, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Couldn't get your digs while you're at uni, huh? Been there. Anyway, they were pretty open about the house being haunted, but I hadn't really experienced anything. Cue the parents go out one night, and their 8-year-old is upstairs in his room. Me and my mate are downstairs watching TV. We hear children's footsteps running up the stairs, and so I call out and say, bedtime, buddy. About 10 minutes later, we hear the same thing, and I go upstairs into the room, and I said, okay, buddy. It's past your bedtime. Stop messing around. The kid looked at me and said it wasn't me. So I said out loud to the room, okay, it's past your bedtime. Don't make me tell you off. The whole atmosphere changed in the room, and it went icy cold, and I could see my breath. The kid put his head under the duvet. Well, obviously I am slightly perturbed by this, and I said out loud, no, I'm not having any temper tantrums. Out before I throw you out myself. I heard these footsteps walk straight past me and out of the room, and the atmosphere went back to normal. I told the parents what happened, and apparently just before we moved in, the neighbor's son had been killed in a hit and run. They had been close friends, and the parents had heard him occasionally talking to someone. As daft as it sounds, I just rolled with it and didn't outwardly show any fear. If ever things got boisterous in the house, I would literally call out, and it would stop. You're saying no to ghosts. You say, nah, not on my watch, friend. Hit the bricks. The old dusty trail is calling.
That's not how he talks. I can handle dusty trails.
You don't like hit the bricks?
No, I didn't like the whole beginning of how he was talking.
Oh, like listen here, pal.
No, even that. I mean,
hey, buddy.
I have a lot to say about the story.
Well,
I will
for it, you know?
try not to make it too long.
Oh, God.
First off, I hope this guy doesn't talk like this in real life. Uni and all the other weird ass words he used.
Boisterous, digs.
Digs,
buddy.
That's the word. Whatever, man.
You like my digs? Hey, everyone at home, what do you think of the studio digs, huh?
Yeah, maybe it's just a writing style. But also, the way this person walks into the room and starts bossing this ghost around, you're just asking for trouble, man.
But it worked.
In this life, it worked temporarily.
And it was probably a child ghost. So.
Yeah, like probably a decent, kind ghost. When he walks into another room where something a little bit more insidious is in there, they might not take kindly to being talked to like that. And he might suffer a little bit. And
suffer. You will suffer.
Yeah, I mean, you just can't, you got to be a little respectful. I mean, you can ask a ghost to stop fucking with the lights. Don't use the fucking part, though. Yeah,
don't do that. YouTube, we're telling people not to do it. It's educational.
Yeah. And that has been known to work for people before, but don't be a jerk in real life or when you're dealing with the afterlife.
Or the next. The more you know. No. Yeah. That's, I don't know. You hear so many stories of people like when, especially on Reddit, you go on Reddit, people are like, help, I have a ghost in my house. What do I do? Everyone's always like, you just got to command it to get out. Say, this is my house. You don't live here no more. And a lot of times that works, but like, I don't know.
If you ain't holding a Bible when you're saying that, that ghost's just going to laugh. If it's a bad ghost, it's just going to laugh at you. At least if you're holding a Bible,
It's going to be like, at least I respect you.
I feel like that church magic comes through a little bit,
Wow.
and it is a little
Yeah.
scary to these entities.
Yeah, the ghost is like, my brother in Christ. I didn't know it was like that. I'll be on my way.
When they see the Bible, they might, what if he starts speaking Latin? We're in trouble. So that they'll be like, I'm going to calm down. Because even
Wouldn't
ghosts
it be
know.
the other way around? Wouldn't the ghost start speaking Latin and freak out the person?
If the ghost knows Latin. Most ghosts don't know Latin.
I don't think we have a strong enough grasp on the afterlife to know if most ghosts know Latin. That seems like something you made up once again. Scott, hit it.
Made it up, you made it up. Christian, you made it up. That shit you just said right there, pulled it right out of your ass and made it up.
That's what I'm saying. This guy's
Yeah.
going to walk in thinking it's just a ghost child and it's going to be a demon one day. He's going to be in a Ouija board house
Sure.
with a well in the basement and
Wow.
shit's going to be,
Brought it back around.
it's going to be real.
Shit's going to be real. Yeah. Beautiful. Well, now that we got that out of the way, what do you guys think at home, huh? Comment. Write it. Christian, what was your favorite story of the episode?
We know which one was my
Of
favorite.
course, the tiny dog one.
Yep.
The dog writer.
The joyous dog.
The Joyous Dog. Yeah, imagine if this guy made the Titles Fish show. This one is called The Joyous Dog. Like, ugh.
Just to show you how much I like dogs. At work today, I walk out from upstairs and one of my coworkers, your friend's over there, and I peek around the corner, it's a dog.
Wow.
It comes in
Just
all
when
the
you thought
time.
you couldn't get any worse, here we are. Here we are. Christian with more dog anecdotes on the Spooky Ghost podcast. What's next? What's next, folks? You know what's next. You're going to find us on social media at Freaky Deaky Pod. You're going to send in your own stories of the paranormal or unexplained to the gang at thefreakydeaky.com. If you want to be in an episode of Sleep with the Lights On, make sure you mention that. Otherwise, we'll just toss you in with one of our freaky listener story episodes that come out of the podcast occasionally. And the podcast itself comes out every single Thursday. Isn't that a treat? Isn't that nice? You say that is nice.
Oh, that is nice.
That is nice. And you'll enjoy it. And that's that. Anyway, friends, remember to sleep with the lights on because you never know what is lurking in the shadows.
It's Bossy Scott. You all know he was bossing you around right there.
They really do be like that sometimes, you know? Goodbye.
Be scared.
Look, that merch for a podcast about ghosts and crap. It's pretty neat. Hey, what a treat. Support the show and rock some swag. If kids are still saying stuff like that, we love you. What a weird song. Buy a t-shirt or TFT thong. Just kidding about that last part, but it's funny all the same. I think the song's over, I'm going insane. Look at that merch for a podcast about ghosts and crap. It's pretty neat. Hey, what a treat. Support the show and rock some swag. If kids are still saying stuff like that, we love you. What a weird song. Buy a t-shirt or TFT thong.